Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back once again for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today is one of the most dominant scorers in the entire country. Came from a SWAC conference that had lights out scores left and right, and he was one of them. And he was the one that said, you know what, my team's going to be the one going to March Madness this season. And he led Prairie View A&M to the promised land, to a conference championship, and even a win in the first four in the NCAA tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, 6'4" guard from Prairie View A&M, Dontae Horne. What's going on, Dontae?
What up? What up? Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited and appreciate it for making me sound real good. So thank you.
Hey, absolutely, man. Excited to get you on. I mean, somebody that has had the journey that you've had and the development just in the past year, the growth that you had in just the past year is absolutely unheard of. You never see a player going from
Mhm.
averaging 5 points per game one place to averaging 20 plus where they go next. And we're going to talk about all of that stuff here
Yeah,
in a sec. But first, we got to show
yeah,
off this resume, show off all the championships and accolades that you've gotten really just in the past year alone in a quick segment that I like to call the
yeah.
resume rundown, where I'm going to show off this
Okay.
resume in a nice little graphic. And I mean, you started off in the JUCO ranks, proved yourself there, made your way over to Texas State, then to Georgia Southern a year ago, and this year, obviously, with Prairie View A&M, where you were an All-SWAC First Team selection as well. You were an HBCU
Hmm.
All-Star, and even getting a first four win over Lehigh in the NCAA tournament to advance to the first round against Florida. So obviously a whole
Yes,
lot of accolades, especially just in the past year alone. So that's incredible. And I gotta ask you real quick. I mean, you took on this role of being the guy for Prairie View A&M. Obviously, when you average 20 points per game, you are the guy. A lot of great
yeah.
talented scorers as well on your team. I believe you guys had four in double figures. Another one averaged 15 plus, I believe 17 plus, actually.
Hmm.
But you were the guy that was always a go-to bucket anytime they needed one. And you went from averaging 5 points per game with Georgia Southern a year ago to 20 points per game this year with Prairie View A&M. Talk to me real quick
Yes,
about taking on that role of being the guy. How were you able to establish that early on?
man. Really, I really wasn't the guy. It kind of like fell into my hands after my roommate. Like you said, we had somebody else like averaging like 17. He was averaging like 20, but he had got hurt. And it was like I ain't gonna say it was only me and him, but I would score double digits. He would score. It's like I've had 30 here. I mean, he had 30, I had 20, or he had 20, I had 20, and I had like a low 20. So it was like a combination of going back and forward. And when he fell down, he got hurt. It kind of like the leadership just kind of fell into my hands. I think the game was Jackson State, where I went off for 38 or however much it was. And then from there on, it just, hey, um, get a bucket. And I stepped up to the plate. Like I said, I always want to thank my teammates because we had a lot of seniors on the court, graduates, and I know. You going to your last school, you want to be that guy. You want to make sure you make getting your numbers. But I just got to say thank you to my teammates because they made a great sacrifice in making sure to find me with the ball, and I also try my best to make sure I did the same with them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you
You
guys
know,
had a very dominant offensive team throughout the entire season. Obviously, did what you guys did on defense too. But I mean, you averaging 20, your teammate averaging 17, another couple of guys averaging double figures. Obviously, a whole lot of points on the board for this Prairie View A&M
yeah.
program, a program that over the past couple of years before this year had some struggles, had a couple of losing seasons in a row. The head coach, I will say, head coach Byron Smith, credit to him, he has a winning pedigree. He made the tournament
Yeah.
in 2019 and had conference regular season championships the 2 years after that in 2020 and 2021. So he knows what it takes
Hmm.
to win. Talk to me real quick about joining this program, seeing his vision on what he thought, not only yourself individually, but this team could be, and how all of that came into fruition.
I feel like he's the type of coach I needed. Like, he's a player coach. He preaches that you have to get in the gym, you have to stay in the gym, you had to make sure you work on your craft, and he did a lot of stuff that I wasn't familiar with. Instead of like regular practices where it's all like critiqued and like edged on, like we begin our practice really with like a workout. Like we're working on our skills, working on our footwork. And I appreciate that because I mean I feel like I had the footwork, but I just didn't use it until I came. to playing with Coach Smith because he always preached, use their footwork, use their footwork. And, he's the type of coach that he loves you, he cares about you. He will go off on you, but it's out of love and the pedigree of wanting to win, like the attitude of wanting to win. Because like I said, he played before and he still to this day he still plays. So his competitiveness level is always on a 10. He always want to win. So even though he was letting me be me, he didn't let me slack. Like he didn't let me. He okay, just because you're the best player doesn't mean I'm gonna give you best player treatment. He's still on my head. He's still going up. Like I'm averaging like 5 points. So that love is what I needed from a coach because my first coach, my first JUCO coach was like that. So I needed, and that's when I had a great JUCO year. So I needed a coach that, even though that showed that they care, because nowadays you really don't see that as much.
Yeah, I mean, with the
Yeah,
transfer portal, with everything, it's hard to find somebody that's really going to invest in you guys the way that he was
yeah,
able to do. And obviously, he put together a very tough non-conference schedule to get you guys ready for SWAC action. Multiple Power Five opponents, I believe Texas A&M, LSU, I think
mm-hmm,
Missouri was on there as well, and then other
mm-hmm.
top teams in their respective conferences like Wichita State, UT Martin. I mean, very talented programs where you guys were able to go out there and compete against them. Some of them obviously not going your guys' way, but still managing to get a few key wins going into conference action. Talk to me real quick
Yes,
about what that
sir.
non-conference schedule was really able to show you guys about this team heading into conference action.
It really showed us how good we could be. Even though those games started, I mean, even though those games ended bad in the beginning or like up towards halftime, the teams really pulled away during the second half, like the end of the second half. And, some people, they expected it, but for us, it showed, it helped us realize how good we actually are. If we were just a little bigger, we probably could have pulled away with a couple of the wins, especially like LSU. But it showed us what we can be and where we could be, if you get what I'm saying. And it prepared us for, going through the tough times like we did in conference and then, going into the SWAC and then also going into March.
Hey, absolutely, man. And whether it was non-conference, conference play, or postseason tournament,
Yeah.
you were always able to knock down some big time shots, some clutch shots left and right. And I want to talk about some of these plays specifically in a quick segment that I like to call Make That Play, where I
Yeah.
went through Synergy and it took me a long time with over 200 made buckets that you had, around 250, I believe. So I was there for quite a while looking through these plays, but I managed to dwindle it down to three, my top three from this past season for you. But obviously, I'm just a fan of the stands. I'm just the guy looking over from.
Yeah.
You're the one on the court doing what you do best, dropping buckets left and right. What would you say was your best play from this past season?
My best play. Um, I think my best play was that game winning shot to basically beat Bethune when I had the big on me and I did a slow 1-2 step, and then because I was trying to draw the foul, so I jumped in front of him. So when I took the second step, I was like, okay, I got him beat, but he's a big, so he's gonna try to block it. So I tried to jump in front of him and make him run into me, but when I realized he went on the side of me, he went on the wrong side of me. I'm like, oh, this is game. Mind you, I didn't even know the score at that point, low key. Like I was just out there playing, so I didn't even know the score at that point, low key. But when I scored it and I looked up, I was like, oh wow, this is probably the biggest bucket of all conferences. I can say my dunk too because this is my first body, but other than that, I feel like that win, I mean that bucket was the biggest one because it kind of helped us, it propelled us over like Bethune and made us get more confidence to win SWAC.
Hey, well, funny enough, both those plays you just mentioned, they're on my top three as well. Those are one and two. But at number three, which is
Yeah.
where I'm going to start off, is going against Alabama A&M with a big and one score that you had. Drove in from the corner into contact right into their post player as well for the Bulldogs and went up and under. Yep, just
Oh
like that,
yeah.
while falling back mid-air and somehow make it. Plus, obviously, drew the foul, went to free throw line, did your thing there. Number two, yeah, that
Hmm.
poster dunk. I believe it was going against Texas Southern, where I mean, great
Yes,
defense
sir.
by you guys led to a big time steal. You're in transition, you're on the fast break. You just rose up, and I don't know why the guy decided to jump with you, but you ended up posterizing him with some force on that play. And then number one, yeah, game clinching shot going against the number one seed Bethune Cookman in the
Yeah.
SWAC tournament, where, like you said, that gave you guys all the momentum you needed. One on one with the defender, you drove right, had a nice little hop step there. Defender went to the wrong side. You got that shot up and helped clinch the win and advance in the SWAC tournament. Ended up going on winning that tournament, obviously. And what's crazy is,
Yes,
we
sir.
we mentioned how you averaged 20 points per game this season, but as you mentioned, you had a teammate that you guys were both kind of going back and forth until he got hurt. And it wasn't until your seventh game of the season where you reached that 20 plus point mark. And after that, you just got rolling. You had three straight 30 balls in SWAC conference action. You had six straight of 20 plus towards the end of the regular season, one of those being a 46 ball that you had against Southern. I mean, how
Yeah.
long would you say it really took for that to develop as far as that confidence to, hey, if I'm open, I'm taking this shot and I know every shot I'm taking, I'm making.
Like I really had I always had confidence, but it was really my teammates pushing me to actually go score the ball. I mean, I'd take the back seat because, like you said, I had somebody else already scoring 20, so I was kind of, just my mind was just on winning, so I wasn't really worried about how much I scored, how often I scored, and when I scored. But I had my teammates in my ears pushing me. It started from me every time I got the ball, and when I got the ball to score, I'm like, okay, make this shot count, make this shot count, make this shot count, and then after shots just started going in and repetitive, and also after being in the gym so much, it started just to become like second nature, and then my coach just gave me the green light. He told me one day, he pulled me to the side one day. He was like, "Hey, I never seen no scoring like this. We need you to score the ball." So I mean, that could have been like could have been like pressure to some people, but I just took it and just ran with it and you see what happened. I just, like I said, I never went out there like, okay, I need to score 20. Okay, I need to score 30. I always went out there like, I'm gonna do whatever God decides to give me today. If I got 10, but if it was with a dub, then hey, it's cool. Even when I had 46, I was mad about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Hey, man, I mean, the points that you were able to put up throughout the season obviously speaks to what you were able to do because it led to a lot of big time wins for your team, obviously. And I mean, 30 points and five rebounds against Mississippi Valley State, 38 points, five rebounds going against Jackson State, and then 46 points with three assists going against Southern. I mean, overall in the
Mhm.
season, 20.1 points, four and a half rebounds, nearly three assists and nearly two steals on the defensive end as well. Just able to do a little bit of everything for this team. And that SWAC conference tournament, you guys were the eight seed. End up going on, win that SWAC
Yeah.
championship. And even going into the SWAC championship, you guys had like a 3, 4 game win streak going in that kind of gave you guys a little bit of momentum. Talk to me real quick about the end of that regular season slash the SWAC tournament overall, where you guys really just seemed to find another level of competing.
Yeah, so what it was is I feel like you said, we got into that little run. We got momentum going into conference and we realized what our problem actually has been. It's been our defensive side. We wasn't playing hard for each other. And I feel like in that conference, you seen it in everybody's eyes. We was letting offense do what we do because like you said, we got four people that's averaging double figures that can score. So we weren't really worried about offense. We can tell on the court we was playing defense, not only for ourselves, but we were playing defense for each other. You can tell that we was connected as a team defensively. And when that happened, offense came easy for us because we was on a lot more fast breaks. We had a lot more open shots. We had the defense tied because they were working so hard on offense. So we just rode that wave. Like, hey, defense is gonna be our engine. Defense is gonna be what takes us over the edge. And that's what happened. Like I said, you got Corey Dunn, our big switchable. He can guard 1 through 5. You got Corey Webb, smart, very smart, IQ smart. He most of the time in the huddles, he's running the defense. Even on the court, he's running the defense. So when you have people at that caliber, also like Lance Williams, he's a pit bull on the ball. You got Scoop Joseph, he's a pit bull on the ball. So when you have people that are willing to follow other leaders on the court, that's what made it easy for us because they can listen to me. I can as well as I can listen to Corey West. Corey West can listen to me the same way. As well as Corey West can talk to Corey Dunn. Corey Dunn can talk to me the same way. So we're just all connected as there's not one leader. We're all leaders and we're all followers. So we need to be able to talk to each other and listen to each other and be able to understand what we're saying and apply it on the court. And that's what we did.
Hey, one mind, one team obviously led you guys doing what you did. And overall on the season, 19 and
Yeah,
18 overall record, 9 and 9 in SWAC conference action. I mean, some of these wins, especially towards the end, key wins. Jackson State, 85 to 76 in overtime. One of the top teams in the conference beat them. Going against Southern in that championship game, 72 to 66 win to where you guys won that championship game. And then Lehigh in the first four, you guys beat them 67 to 55. And I want to talk about that game real quick specifically and the March Madness experience overall for you. You're able to go out there, really showcase what you can do at a high level. And I believe in that Lehigh game, you had 20 plus points in that as well to help lead your team to the win. Talk to me real quick about the March
yes, sir.
Madness experience overall and what it took to get that first four win.
It took everything. I was the March Madness experience was crazy. At the SWAC, we had got back home the next day. I flew back home the next day, and then we found out that the next day after the day we got home, the next day we was flying back out again. But other than that, it was exciting. We felt like celebrities. They March Madness. Big shout out to them. They treated us like we was the number one seed. Like you couldn't tell what seed we was. It was so happy. We had cameras. We had interviews everywhere, and that first game. I feel like no disrespect to Lehigh, major team, great team. I feel like we should have beat them more than what we did, but it's our first time being in March. That's a big stage. A lot of nerves was probably going on. So we was just really, really excited to be able to say, hey, we are March Madness. We made it. This is a story we can tell our kids or our family going to the game. I was just ready. I was dialed in. Mind you, I have played a lot of minutes these past games. There was back to back. So in the first half, I was kind of tired, but I really didn't have a good shooting game in the beginning of the game. But like I said, Corey was kept us in the game, and then they would take us home at the end. But March Madness was wonderful. I hope everybody. I'm glad they expanded the bracket because I feel like a lot of people should need to actually experience something like that.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of teams. Auburn didn't end up making it. They should have been in there. I mean, there were a couple of other teams that you talk about, the seasons that they had. Now they're going to get more of an opportunity to make the NCAA tournament to showcase what they can do. And obviously, you guys were one of those teams that got to showcase what you could do this past season yourself alongside a lot of other
Yes,
great
sir.
talent. And you've been able to play alongside a lot of great talent wherever you've been. You played alongside a couple of my good friends, Bradley Douglas and Tyson Brown at Georgia Southern, and a lot of great talent at Texas State, as well as in the JUCO ranks as well. And I want to give you a chance to shout some people out that I can reach out to, have on the podcast to get them to talk about their stories as well in this segment called Who's Up Next, where you go off the top of your head, whoever you think is an absolute dog, who should I get on the podcast to get them to talk about their stories next?
Lance Williams. I feel like he don't get a lot of credit that he deserves. I feel like most of the credit goes to me or like Scoot. He's mind you, NIA, right? He came over to Prairie and transitioned to a one guard. Now nobody probably knew he was a two guard because how naturally it looked for him playing the one guard. Lance can score. Lance can flat out score. Yeah, I'm getting all the credit, but if it wasn't for Lance making these tough shots, if it wasn't for Lance for picking up full court, it, Coach give Lance probably the most BS out of everybody. And Lance is so level headed. He's a great person and great basketball player and great person on and off the court. He eats right. He works out right. He works on himself and he's quiet. And I feel like and also he's like the glue of our team. When he can also be the superstar and you can just trust him on and off the court. Anytime I kicked it to Lance, he was open. Mind you, he averaged 10 points, right? Probably like 5 assists. His shooting splits was almost like 50, 40, 90. Anytime I kicked it to Lance, knocked down. I never thought if Lance got into that mid range, knocked down. I never thought Lance was missing. So if anybody deserved this, Lance Williams.
He did. He's one of the
Yeah.
ones I actually have him on my list of the Prairie View guys. There's a couple of other guys besides yourself that I'm looking to have on to just talk about the season, obviously their careers, and he is definitely going to be one of the ones I'm going to hit up very soon to get him on the podcast. So some sports viewers, stay tuned for his interview coming up here soon.
Yes,
and
sir.
obviously a lot of great guys overall on this team. And you yourself, your collegiate career, I believe, has now come to an end. You're out of eligibility. I have no idea. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know with eligibility anymore. It's kind of crazy with
Um,
how it is now. But
I am, I am, as of right now, as of how I'm looking at it, I am out of eligibility. I was hoping that they just said, forget it. We're gonna get everybody one more year and that's it. So I can be more financially stable. And and I can also be able to play and stay in America where my people can come watch me. Hopefully, I'm still playing in America this coming up year, but if all goes to fail, I don't mind going overseas at all. But like, I need to work on my body. Body is number one. My lower half, especially my flexibility. I think if I get more flexible, it can unlock more stuff and more varieties for me. Like I can be more athletic, I could be faster, I can do a lot more things. And also I want to be a consistent knockdown shooter. I can shoot, I don't know how to put it. I shoot better when I'm dribbling than catch and shoot. And I know in situations I'm gonna have to be good at catch and shoot. So I'm trying to get better at catch and shooting. I want to cut down on the turnovers and I want to have my handle like when I get bumped, I still have the ball. I mean, it's pretty decent now, but since I'm going pro, hopefully I'm able to get into some league so I can really know what I need to work on. But since I'm going pro, I want to work on my body and more of my mobility and flexibility so my career can be longer
Mhm.
than shorter. I want to be able to play for a long time, and you never know. I might end up in a super top league. I might end up in it on a two-way, but I just want to make sure my body and my health and my mind is all up to par for when I get ready to go play in the pros. Because there's a lot of mentally tough stuff, and also physically tough stuff. So I'm trying to make sure my body and my mind is up to ready for it.
Hey, absolutely, man. Definitely can't wait to see what you end up doing in your rookie year of the pros. No matter where you end up, you already know you got a spot on the Slim Sports podcast this time next year so we can show off some more of those big time shots and hopefully a few more posterizing dunks since you're looking to add on to that athleticism and flexibility, man. Beyond blessed to
Yes,
get somebody of your
sir.
caliber on. So, an incredible scorer, an incredible defensive player as well, and just an incredible personality to get on the podcast to really showcase who you are, not just as a player, but as a person. So, thank you so much
Yes,
for hopping
sir.
on today to the Slim Sports Podcast for a fantastic interview.
Appreciate it.